We're going to add photos. So you need to do some research and go to the WWF website and download a few from there, or you can go to anywhere on the web and look for some good high quality photographs to use. So I'm going to go through the first one or maybe two sections, not true sections, but topics, forests, freshwater, etc. And we're going to make each topic 4 pages. So before I do this, let's go ahead and set up what I want to do for this section. I don't want to call it a section, but this topic. So I'm going to go ahead and go to A Master, and I'm going to duplicate it. And now we're at B Master. Turn on my items here. Now what's very important going forward is you don't modify the text frames on the actual pages. We want to just keep those working automatically because we set up an automatic page or text frame, and we're going to do the same thing on B Master, setting up and modifying what we have here already. So we're just going to be working with the right page, so that's all we need selected. We're going to take this text frame, and this little icon just says this is created as a primary text, an automatic text flow. So I'm going to take this and drop it down. I think it's about down here where I want to do this. And I'm going to go ahead and create a graphic frame up here, and it's going to be the width, and that's what I wanted. I wanted 4.5 by 3 1/8, so that works out well. So this is a placeholder for a graphic for the photo, okay? And this, I think, was at 4 inches that I wanted to do, so we'll leave it at that. Now, again, it's very important that now number 1, page 1, we don't modify it here. We want to take B Master and apply it to page 1. So now automatically you can see that the text frame changed. But if you do this manually on this page, if you make any other changes, you're going to have to go manually changing it every time. So please don't mess with the text frames, only work with the content within them. All right? So here we have page 1 now, page 2 and 3, and then page 4. And this may flip to the next page after we add some photographs, but we'll see what happens. And you will probably need to modify the paragraph style sheets once you get all the images in. All right? So we're going to have a photo to start each item here. So for us is 1. Then I want you to have a photo for why it matters, and 1 photo for what it's doing, and then 1 photo for like one of the 2 elements at the end. So I'm going to go ahead and set up some information here, a graphic frame on here, and we're not just going to place it and leave it, we're going to anchor it to the copy. So again, if the copy changes, you modify your paragraph style sheets, the graphic will go with it. So I'm going to make a graphic frame, 1.75 by 1.75. Okay, I'm going to grab that and put it over here. I'm going to lay it about right in here, and I'm going to need text wrap on it, and additional text wrap because I do not want text to align and against a graphic element. So I'll go to my text wrap options here, and we just want it, we don't want it on all sides, we just want it on the left hand side. So there we go, somewhere in there. Okay, so there's our text wrap. So I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste it, and we're going to make another one for down in here. And I'm visually kind of aligning with the top of the secondary subhead. Okay, now here's the thing. This little icon right here, if I drag it to copy, it will stay with the copy. So I'm going to click and drag it to, let's just put it right here and see what happens. Okay, now if my formatting changed or my copy changed, that photo continues to move with this text. And you'll notice that it doesn't happen to the second one because it's just sitting there, it's not anchored. So I will take this information back out, and we're going to take this item, click here, and drag to this little area right here, and now this is anchored also. You can always control click, take the anchored object and release it, and modify and put it to another anchoring text if you want to. So you might have to play around how this works to see how it's going to work well with this. The other one is going to be a graphic. This is about the same size as the one on top. Let's move this in here. Let's see, let's go by 3 inches. Okay, and this one I'm going to anchor, and it might depend on what you do. I'm going to put it after logging, and I'm going to need text wrap on it, so it will stay after this paragraph. Okay, so now I've got these set up. I'm going to go ahead and drag some photos that I've got in here into these placeholders. Okay, now again, what's interesting about this is these graphic elements or placeholders we did on our regular pages, and this one up here I can't click on because it was created on the Be Master page. However, if I go ahead and drag and drop to find my assets, I'm on a different page right now, different screen. I'm going to go to, we're in Forest, and I grab my panda and just drag it in here. And what's cool, even though it's created on the master page, it will drop inside that graphic frame. So that's really, really cool. Okay, let me grab some more information for the next two, and you can do a Command D, edit, where is it, File, Place. Where is Place? Once you do the shortcut, it's kind of hard to find sometimes. Now I feel kind of silly. It's got to be here. Yeah, it is. File, Place. Okay. And I can go into my forest, and I can grab in, where's my, okay, that's the one I wanted in here. So I can pop that one in here, Command D, put my little tree in here, because it kind of goes about what they're doing, and just planting more trees, why it matters, people depend on forests, okay. And then on this one, we're going to show something that is negative. So this is just going to show what happens when you log too much. And then make sure all your graphic elements are fitting properly, and they're centered, and they're in proportion, etc. Can move this in here, and that one works just fine. So I've got that one set up, and if you want to, you could, I believe, go copy and paste these to the next. I guess it didn't quite work. Let me see. You can just do one at a time. I go and do one at a time. All right, that's okay. I'm going to pop some in here. Now notice it's coming with a linked element, so maybe we have an issue here. Let me do a click, and we're going to take out, see, now I'm looking at something I'm not even quite sure. You know what I'm going to do? We're just going to do this. We're going to set it up again. 1.75 by 1.75. 1.75. There we go. So I guess if I was doing this, I'd probably get them all ready first, and then copy and paste them so they've got placeholders all over the place, and then go back and put all my images in. Copy, paste. There's 2 images. I'm not going to link them yet because I'm not quite sure what's going to happen on this first page of Freshwater. So Freshwater is going to be on, I'm currently on page 5. I'm going to bring in my Be Master down to page 5. And then I've got these elements that we can go place. Now since I can't click on it, I can't do a file place. I've actually got to drag it in. So I'm going to go to my Freshwater Assets and pull it in, drop it in there. So I've got that one. And then do the same thing. Pull the contents in, Command D, or however you want to do it. Let's go to Freshwater. So you can tell I've got my assets folder. I've got assets for the different topics in here. There's my ag person. Put them in there. My freshwater hands. I like this one better. And then this one is going to be, again, a negative impact of what could happen. Okay, and then again, you've got to go and place this where it's supposed to go. And I do not like what happens here, so I might change my alignment for this one. if I did a align, let's see, paragraph style sheets, secondary, and if I made it aligning just left, not justify, that's going to make that work a whole lot better. Okay, clicking here, going to anchor it to that copy. Now something still happened, right? So I might have to use my forced align return or a shift return. So instead of the return, that's not going to work so well. I'm going to hold down the shift key and then hit return, and it will keep it in the same paragraph but make it force it to the next line. Something that you might have to do. Let's see. And you know what? I put it in the wrong place anyhow, so I'm going to have to control click, take the anchored object and release it, because this actually goes up here by food, and link it again. Okay, that's something that's kind of silly. And click and drag to link it up to anchor it. Okay, and this one's going to be anchored. We put it where I want it first, and it's going to be anchored here. Okay, so once you get all four topics set up where you have the first page based on Beemaster, then 2 photos, keep them the same. I want everything being very consistent with the 4 topics, and then 1 photo of something negative that's going on. So fresh water, 2 photos, negative photo, and then oceans. I would need to again click here and do a control, I always forget which one, a function return to force it to the next text frame. And then this page is page 8, page 9 actually. Bring down Beemaster and then continue on. So that'll be this section, this portion, I guess. Get all your photographs in for the 4 topics, and then we'll continue on.